endorse. The second and very important tip I have for the English gentleman about town is it is better to be overdressed than underdressed. For example, if one has layers, one can take them off very easily, en fait. So it is easier to be in this set situation opposed to the contraire situation, which is awful, and we will not discuss that right now. And my final tip for the gentleman about town in England is shades of color. Matching are much better than clashing color. For example, my very well dressed compere this evening has a very nice contrast of color. For example, if there was a rush shirt color, this would not work. So in total, there are my 3 tips for déportement and elocution. I find emphasizing the last word of sentence is much better than the first.
I see. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Marcel.
My pleasure.
And just to say, televisual viewers, if you were having trouble understanding what the devil this man was saying, remember he is foreign. Yes, this is a Frenchman. What we will do, we will re-record this with an Englishman from the British Empire who understands what the devil he said. All right, well, thank you ever so much to you.
Merci and goodbye.
This is the BBC's early morning shipping forecast, helping our mariners in the North Atlantic. November nights are drawing in, and my carriage was covered in ice this morning. Let's hear what's driving the weather from my Canadian cousin here from the colonies. Would you like to show our viewers where you're from?
Aye, she's a cold North Atlantic wind. That's a blowing, but she's good for shipping.
So shipping, what are we transporting from the colonies today?
Well, the Canadians are bringing in their finest boys to Blighty, doing their best bit for the war effort. These boys will drive the Huns right back to the Rhine. What weather shall they expect when they shall arrive?
Well, I believe that they're wearing +4s at Windsor today. So it's likely to be a little bit chilly around the nether regions.
Shocking. Shocking. Well,
thank you.
Thank you.
Very well, ready when you are, Mr. Baldwin. We are here. Now, remember, if a woman approaches you on the front line, remember to say, "Stay away, you harlot." Ready?
Yeah.
Stay away, you harlot. Very good. Excellent work, Mr. Baldwin. Yes, we are trying to protect ourselves from venereal disease. Now, Mr. Baldwin is here to talk through 4 main points of venereal disease provided here by the Ministry of War. Now, Mr. Baldwin, please read out number 1 on venereal disease.
Urinate. Interrupt the flow by pinching the tip of the penis and releasing quickly several times.
Step 2.
Soap. Lather from belt to knees. Flow by... Oh, no. I was reading the wrong one.
Lather from the belt to the knees.
Yes. Wash the penis, particularly the foreskin and head, thoroughly for 5 minutes. Rinse and dry.
Very good. Point 3.
Silver tube. Inject all the content into the urine canal. Hold the tip of the penis for 1 minute.
Point 4.
Yellow tube. Bite off the tip. Ouch. Inject a little ointment into the urine canal. Rub the remainder of the ointment into the skin of the penis, especially about the foreskin and glands.
Thank you. That was ministry advice there from Mr. Baldwin, who is directly from the Ministry of Health. Thank you, Mr. Baldwin.
Thank you.
Hello, you are now joining us live from Studio 2, where I have the pleasure, Edwin Floyd, of introducing to you some French filets. Yes, live from France we have Les Mademoiselles, and they're about to sing for you an enchanting song that will hopefully bring joy to the young hearts of our boys on the front line. Remember, boys, look at their faces and remember them, all those happy times in the trenches. So, ladies, please, if you will.
Allons enfants de la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé. Contre nous de la tyrannie, l'étendard sanglant élevé, l'étendard sanglant élevé. Entendez-vous dans nos campagnes mugir ces féroces soldats. Ils viennent jusque dans nos bras, égorger nos fils et nos compagnes. Aux armes, citoyens, formez vos bataillons. Marchons, marchons, d'un sang impur, abreuve nos sillons. C'est bon de couillons.
Okay, stop waving, please. Hello, viewers. Hello, viewers. You are joining us now from Studio 1. You're joining us live, and I'm pleased to announce I'm in the company of Mr. Marsham and Miss Konichiwa. They are here to talk about Mr. Marsham's latest film. It is something to help bring joy to those in wartime. Yes, tell us more about it, Mr. Marsham.
Well, my film is a film about a Japanese pianist, Miss Konichiwa here, who's the star of the film. Unfortunately, we don't have your technology yet, so we can't have any sound in the film. So it's going to be a rather strange film, but we hope that people will be astounded by the amazing talents of Miss Konichiwa in front of a piano throughout the duration of the film. So we're putting the piano in lots of interesting landscapes around the country and allied countries to give people a connection between film music and wherever they live.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Marsham. Now, Miss Konichiwa, you have not said much to us yet, but perhaps you could just sit up and tell us a little bit more about your role. So you're a musician, are you, Miss Konichiwa? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Marsham and Miss Konichiwa.
Michael has just come back from Moscow, which has had dreadful things happening to it in the recent times, but we're going to talk about the weather. Michael, tell me what the weather is
Recently,
doing.
I was in Moscow, as you can see here on the map, but terrible things are happening there. What we're finding is there's lots of unrest, people are really upset about what's going on. There's change happening, but it's still lots to do.
Michael, darling, I know dreadful things are happening in Moscow, such a commotion, but we're here to talk about the weather.
Yes.
So tell me what the weather
It's cold,
is doing.
generally very cold, lots of poor people suffering in the cold, very cold, lots of snow, very cold really.
Very cold.
Yes.
Okay.
Freezing.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be snow and freezing wet conditions in Moscow. Now we're going to go to London. To dear London. Nice, genteel, mild-mannered London. And what's the weather doing today in London?
It's autumnal, but we're still worried about what's happening in Russia, mainly. And so there's lots of unrest with people going on there and just terrible things terribly happening.
Yes, Michael, darling, I know you're very obsessed about what's happening in Russia, and I know they've had this dreadful revolution. But really, we're just here to focus on the weather and in London.
Kensington's very nice, I hear.
Kensington is very nice.
So you tell me. Yes.
It's very nice. Kensington is lovely. And our King and Queen, they are very happily in our London and in the UK and very safe.
Ooh, lucky them for some, isn't it? That's what I'd like to say.
Very safe,
Lucky
I would
them.
say.
Yes.
So, I think that wraps it up, doesn't it?
Lieutenant Williams and Miss Hanan. Now, we're going to be asking them some questions about their relations. You'll see Mr. Williams has contracted syphilis and so has come back from the front a little bit earlier than expected, leaving the rest of those poor buggers fighting the battle for him.
Correct.
in the meantime, Miss poor Hanan, who has been worried sick at home, working as she does as a housewife. Well, not even wife, they're not actually married yet. Keeping the house nice and clean and making jams, etc. You know the sort of thing, while he's been away. So, perhaps you could tell us, Lieutenant Williams, how it is that you contracted syphilis away from your dearly beloved.
Well, as you may or may not understand, when you're on the front lines, obviously you feel very close to death at all times, and that imbues a certain sense of recklessness, as you are now showing.
Listen, I was just consoling the poor lady.
No, of course, I totally understand.
So, did you have to pay for this syphilis, did you?
Of course not, I'm a war hero, what do you expect?
Very good. When are you expecting to be able to go back to the war?
It's permanent, I fear. Very
Lovely.
permanent.
Why am I hearing about this now?
All right, let's not start a domestic here. Now, in the meantime, will this affect your marriage to him, Miss Hanan?
What if it's permanent? And you have syphilis? I don't think I really want to be with you anymore. I've waited.
Thank you, sir, for raising these pertinent issues.
No problem. Perhaps we can have something a little bit lighter.
And hello, and we're here to talk about travel. And over to Lord Johnston.
This one time in Matatanga.
Anyway, where's hot right now? Well, let me tell you, it's not Germany. What is hot right now is me and Brazil. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. You better chase all your cares away. Get ready for your judgment day. And over to Miss Harrison.
Okay. It's a long way to Tipperary. It's a long way from home. It's a long way from Tipperary. But the sweetest girl I know. Goodbye, Piccadilly. Farewell, Leicester Square. It's a long, long way to Tipperary, but my heart's right there.
And that's over and out for travel.
I'm joined by someone slightly unusual. I'm joined by an angel of death. Yes.
Good
now,
evening.
hello, angel.
Hello. Very pleasure to meet you.
Tell me, angel, could you please tell us how you died?
Well, it's a long story. I earned my wings in a very noble way of rescuing soldiers on the front. And I earned my black wings for rescuing some of the enemy soldiers on the front.
All right, well, we'll say no more about the enemy.
Yes.
But thank you for rescuing our boys back on the front line there. And can you tell us a little bit more? Will you be going back to carry on this work?
I will give it a try, but it's very, bloody and muddy.
I see, madam. All right. And how long will you be continuing this for?
As long as I can do it.
Fabulous, madam. Do you have any final words for us, Angel of Death?
Well, yes. Go for it.
Well, there you have it, boys. Keep on fighting. Thank you, Angel of Death.
Thank you.
Hello, you're joining me, Edwin Floyd, back in Studio 2. And I've got a real floor filler for you now. Yes, I'm joined by Mr. Jake and Miss Clements. Miss Clements has joined us all the way from the United States of Americas. Yes, our former folk who fled over there from our great British Empire. And now look at them. Haven't they grown up? So, Mr. Jake, please.
Well, we have brought the singing sensation, Miss Lucy Clements, to the shores of England to entertain the troops and lift their spirits. And ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lucy Clements.
Oh, well, I'm going to get the pulses racing and the temperature soaring. Oh! Okay, here we go. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. We're gonna race all your cares away. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. We're gonna be good friends. ready for the judgment day. The sun is shining, come on, get happy. There you go, guys.
Oh, well. Thank you, Miss Clements, and thank you, Mr. Jake. Now, please remember, if you didn't understand all of the words that she said, remember she is foreign. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
We have with us Mr. Soros and Miss Esmeralda. Yes, and they are deciding to do a dance for us all.
It's a scene in a famous movie.
It was supposed to be a dance, but now it's a scene from a famous movie. And so, without further ado...
Okay.
I hope you enjoy it.
I hope you enjoy this. Yes.
Let's go. Ooh, my head. Well, there we are. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Soros and Miss Esmeralda. Therefore, something quite perplexing.
We know it's a tough time right now, and your lovers may be far, they may be in France, they may be in the US, but we have the answer to your solution.
We know it's tough when your beau's away.
But that doesn't mean you can't get it off.
You can.
With Salva-Sam.
It's us.
In it.
This is the weather. This is definitely the weather. My name is Windy Bottom, and this is Sunny Disposition.
Hello.
So over to Sunny Disposition to talk about the weather in Asia.
Wow, it's brilliant. Always brilliant in Asia. Well, this time it's gonna be always sunny and hot. Humid always, but perfect. Got your suntan, lay on the beach, heaven life, isn't it? Yep, that's from the hot season, or what you call it, hot weather in Asia.
So I think the message here is if you're about to be drafted, bribery I think is a good thing. See if your sergeant major can get you can get you to somewhere. Wait a sec. I'll just point out, if you don't know where Asia is, I'll just. It's somewhere over here, right? It says English. But I think if you ignore the words and just kind of aim roughly for this area, it's going to be dangerous, right? Not as safe necessarily as where we live, but still hot, not rain. If you're going to be drafted to the war, go there. It's warm. It's lovely.
It's lovely all the time. Promise you.
And I think that actually concludes the weather. Thank you very much for listening. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
And you'll notice that I'm joined by another colleague. This is Dr. Georgie. Dr. Georgie is here to explain the benefits of Salvasan, a special cream that will help to protect you from venereal disease.
Hello, that's correct. My name is Dr. Georgie. I'm here from the National Institute of Experimental Therapeutics in Frankfurt. So Salvasan is not a cream, in fact, but is an injection into your left or right buttock. And it helps with the venereal diseases. So syphilis, the gonorrhea, the clap, HIV/AIDS, crabs, Ebola, whatever you're inflicted with, we can help you out here at Salvasan. The main ingredients are mercury and chlorine, so perfectly natural. Everything's 100%, organic and healthy. It's absolutely fantastic. This will benefit everything in your life. It will help your hair grow, your quality of life, and your personality all in one.
Wow.
It's the dream.
Thank you very much, Dr. Georgie. And remember, boys, flies spread disease, so keep yours closed. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you, live from Studio 2, two gorgeous gals, two young fillies in the flesh, straight from the fireside, straight from working hard in the kitchen, preparing their wartime jams and chutneys. Yes, these girls are Chutman and Marsh, and they're going to be singing for us. Pack up your troubles in your old tin bag. Thank you, gals. Take it away.
Thank you. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. While you've a Lucifer to light your fag. Small boys, that's the style. What's the use of worrying? It never was worthwhile. So pack up your troubles in your old kit bag and smile, smile, smile. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
It's gonna be you. You are joining us live from Studio 2, and I'm pleased to announce that we have some entertainment for you. It could be funny, whatever happens. Yes, we are joined by Mr. and Mrs. Rary. So, please, Mr. and Mrs. Rary, what are you going to be singing for us today?
It's a long way to Tipperary.
It certainly is, and it could get longer and longer. So, please, Mr. and Mrs. Rary, take it away.
Okay, it's a long way to Tipperary.
It's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest man I know. Oh no, what comes next?
Goodbye.
Piccadilly, farewell, Leicester Square.
Bye.
It's a
long way to Tipperary, and my heart.
And that was Mr. and Mrs. Rary with a rousing take on Long Way to Tipperary. I'm sure you won't be hearing that anytime again. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Rary. An absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will introduce to you Private Stanley Winterbourne, who has just returned from the front. We also have here Nurse Malone.
Hello. Good evening.
Now, please, Private, would you please talk about your experiences on the front?
It's terrible. The Germans are awful. It's cold, wet, damp, and frankly, I couldn't wait to get back to England.
I see. And why are you back?
Because I'm sick.
What have you got?
Venereal disease.
That sounds painful.
It is.
What can you do about it?
Basically nothing.
I see. How did you contract it?
From her. I mean a prostitute.
Thank you.
Very well. And Nurse Malone, how do you find the war?
Well, I've been treating a lot of patients recently. It's very hard work, but they're all doing super jobs.
Very good. All right. Well, keep it up. And it's nice to see a woman out from the kitchen. That's the spirit. Away from the oven and making chutneys. Thank you, Nurse Malone.
Quite
Most
right.
kind. We won't tire you anymore with any more questions. And thank you, Private. Please rest your genitals. And in the meantime, God save the King. Thank you very much. Absolutely.
Hello, I'm Bretton. You are?
I am Hyatt.
So tonight what we're going to bring you is a special thing from that the English have designed for the French resistance to help them on their way a little bit. It's new from YSL. It's the high heel. And this high heel can be used in many ways. Hyatt, please show me the high heel.
It is the new stamping fashion accessories used for the resistance against the German.
So this high heel can be used in many ways. It can be used as a sideways movement. It can also be used as another sideways movement. It can also be used as a frontal movement. And please give me your foot. In cases of emergency, it can be used through the foot. Hun, we have you. YSL, we love you. Thank you.
For the French.
For the French.
What's better than Yardley's shaving foam? For the hero,
for the man inside. Yardley's shaving foam, for patriotism, for England, for the war effort. Yardley's shaving foam, what every woman wants for her man. Give it to him today. Thank you.
This is the BBC, London calling. Here is the news.
Good news from the Western Front. Our boys did us proud. After an intense period of fighting, our boys advanced forward and brought us ever closer to victory.
Not long now, boys, and victory will be ours. God save the King.
Hello, you are joining us live from Studio 2, and I'm pleased to announce we have a female in the room. Yes, we are joined by the lovely Nurse Brown, no less. And Nurse Brown is here to help to rouse the troops in many ways. Yes, Miss Brown will now be singing It's a Long Way to Tipperary. So please, Nurse Brown, take it away.
It's a long way to Tipperary, it's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary, the sweetest girl I know. Goodbye Piccadilly, farewell Leicester Square. It's a long way to Tipperary, and my heart is right there.
That was exceptional work, and you've been joining us live from Studio 2. Action! Hello, you are joining us back in Studio 2, and I'm pleased to announce that I'm joined by two young women. Yes, I'm joined by Miss Shipley and Miss Miles, and together they are here today to talk to us about nature. You see, often as the woman stares from her kitchen window, making her loved man some chutney or a nice home pie, she'll often be longing and looking through the pines and happen to come across some nature. So, ladies, perhaps you can tell us about some blue tits.
Well, I actually have a letter here from a young man called Mr. Attenborough, who's written to us from somewhere in the middle
Galapagos.
The Galapagos.
Right, very far.
And I don't know whether, Emma, you might be able to tell me a little bit more about what he's seeing over there.
Yes. So what he appears to have said to us from the Galapagos is, "My dearest Miss Miles, I feel I must write to you again, dear, although there is not much news to tell you. Disappointing. I wonder how you are getting on. I shall be relieved to get a letter from you. I can't help feeling a bit anxious, dear. I know how you must feel not getting my letters for so long. I don't know where he's going to talk about the wildlife here, because it seems like he's getting a bit unnecessarily emotional."
Yeah.
Well, he calls you darling in this bit. Awkward.
That's a bit racy.
Yeah. There's kisses at the end.
All right, well, enough of
Put that
that.
to one side.
So, were you planning on talking about nature?
We were relying on the letters to tell us about all the new discoveries in the Galapagos from Dr. Attenborough.
Well, it would seem that Dr. Attenborough in the Galapagos has been somewhat distracted by members of the opposite sex, and so we haven't been provided with any further information or insights on the natural world. Therefore, thank you very much, gals, and have a nice night.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are joining us back in the home Studio 1. Yes, you're joining me, Edwin Floyd, with Dr. Tom Rai Huela, a consultant in infectious diseases, and Dr. Anna Rai Huela, a neurologist. Now, please, doctors, could you tell us a little bit about the war?
This is war. As doctors, we need you to man up.
Yes, that's right. Man up. Coughs and sneezes spread diseases. No coughs on the home front.
If you really need it, we recommend Calpol, Strepsils, and maybe some ibuprofen. Please, man up.
Very good. And now on to something a little lighter, Dr. Ryweller. Perhaps you could talk us through VD. If you could just talk about some preventative treatment for VT. Just start with number 1 here. Please take it away, Doctor.
Yes, please, everyone, we need you to urinate. Please urinate on a regular basis. The tip of the penis. Oh, hang on. Interrupt the flow by pinching the tip of the penis and releasing quickly several times.
Number 2.
Soap. Lather from belt to knees. Wash the penis, particularly the foreskin and head, thoroughly for 5 minutes. Rinse and dry.
Number 3.
Silver tube. Inject all the content into the urine canal. Hold the tip of the penis for 1 minute.
Very good. And finally, number 4.
Yellow tube. Bite off the tip. Inject a little ornament into the urine canal. Rub the remainder of the ornament into the skin of the penis, especially about the foreskin and glands.
Well, there we have it. There's our 2 doctors talking about venereal disease, and I'm sure there's a lot of exciting talk going on by your fireside at home about that subject. Thank you very much, Doctor and Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we are in Studio 2 with a bevy of beauties. Yes, our young nurses sent straight from the front. And perhaps we could get some eyewitness accounts. We've got Mrs. Matilda Brown and Miss Maud Orange. I don't know which is which. Hello.
Maud. I'm Maud.
Hello, Maud. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Very good. So, gals, could you tell us a bit more about the front?
Well, life on the front is very hard for our boys, as you know.
Absolutely.
We have spent the last 6 months nursing for them. We have given them 24-hour care. We've seen the sort of thing that ladies of our background and class should really not have to see. And yet we are still here to tell the tale because we think it's very important that we come home and tell all the folks back home just exactly what our boys are going through.
Please, go on.
Had a little bit of a problem because, well, the initial plan was to take out a lot of provisions, and some of those were sort of some prosthetic limbs, but it then transpired that when we were at the front they weren't actually working the way we thought they would. So we've had to have a rethink, haven't we, about how we're going to move forward. And we think maybe just biscuits is what we're doing now.
I'm sorry, what?
Biscuits and loaves of bread. Refreshments.
Right, I see. Well, that's good. And you make those all yourselves?
We do, handmade, absolutely. At the
Fantastic.
front. Baking for Britain.
Well, that's the spirit, girls, and that's why we have women, you see, to be able to cook even on the front line. Yes, thank you very much. We don't need all that tittle-tattle, girls. All you need to do is get back to that kitchen and keep on cooking for your boys on the front.
Hear, hear.
Cheers.
You, Miss Price.
Hello, my name is Tiffany Price, and this is Uncle Curtis.
Good afternoon.
He's here to answer all your questions. He's the BBC's own agony uncle. Are you ready for your first letter, Uncle Curtis?
Yes, I am.
Dear Uncle Curtis, can you get pregnant from Coca-Cola?
I have once heard of a story in Australia of someone drinking something which they shouldn't have, and as a result becoming pregnant. But I have it on very, very good advice that no, you cannot become pregnant from Coca-Cola. Fanta, on the other hand, highly pregnant.
Thank you, Uncle Curtis. Dear Uncle, I masturbate profusely. My mummy says it's wrong. My daddy likes to watch. What should I do? Little Johnny, age 4.
Well, providing they're happy, then you should be happy. Children should be seen and not being heard. So providing you're being seen and not heard, I can't see a problem with that.
Finally, Uncle Curtis, my boyfriend has syphilis. Will I catch it?
Yes.
There you have it. Thank you, Uncle Curtis, for those wise words of wisdom.
Thank you.
Good evening. This is the sports news from the BBC. with myself, Helen Pilkington, and
Kamini Sharma.
Arsenal have captured the FA Cup by defeating their arch-rival Liverpool in front of a crowd of special troops just back from the front.
On this special occasion, His Royal Highness King George IV presented the cup in front of a jubilant crowd at Wembley Stadium and highlighted the sacrifices being made across the nation in the war effort. His Highness also made light of the recent Christmas Day football match played in no man's land in Belgium as signifying the ability for nations to come together in peace.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, we have Seaman St. Michael Salutations Stevens, and he has joined us now for a bit of entertainment for you children. So please, Seaman, take it away.
Hello, boys and girls. Seaman St. Michael's Salacious Stevens here again. You might remember me from the shipping forecast, but Auntie Valerie has at the last minute cancelled. So I will be joining you with no script at the very last minute, and I will be showing you today how to make a boat from paper so you can be a good little seaman just like me. Wouldn't you like to be a little seaman? Now, I want you to take a little square of white paper, like so. That's right, boys and girls. If you have to rip up Daddy's naughty magazines, that's just fine. Just try not to look